Breaking news, a Metro councilman is in the hospital this morning after he was shot several times overnight.
A lot of questions on this. Let's check in with News Channel 5's Matthew Torres. He is at the gas station, the Marathon station over in West Nashville, which is where it happened. But for some reason, this councilman left that property and followed a couple of these guys, the suspects in this case, Matthew.
And that's what's perplexing to investigators this morning as to why the councilman parked his car here at the gas station and then followed two men who ended up shooting him last night. At some point, he then made his way back here to the gas pump where he parked his car and collapsed to the ground. And we are talking about Councilman of District 1, Linnell Green, who is still at Vanderbilt this morning after he was shot 3 times, once in the elbow, shoulder, and the chest. Now, this happened shortly after 10 o'clock last night. Again, police say that the councilman followed 2 men seen on surveillance cameras walking from the gas station up to Burgess Avenue and then taking a right on Osceola Avenue. And minutes later, it was there where witnesses heard several gunshots. In fact, when police arrived, they found multiple shell casings along that street. But at this hour, again, there are more questions than answers.
Councilman Green appears to have followed that exact same path, following these 2 individuals. Some type of interaction obviously occurred in the middle of Osceola Avenue. What occurred is unknown at this point.
Green is a newly elected councilman who is still at the hospital this morning, but in stable condition. In fact, Mayor Berry visited him last night. We have a piece of her statement to us coming up in the next half hour. We are live in West Nashville. I'm Matthew Torres, News Channel 5.
Matthew, thank you. Some scary moments for neighbors in one Mount Juliet neighborhood after a road rage incident turns violent. We're told the dispute started on Hobson Pike yesterday afternoon, but instead of letting it go, investigators say Larry Siegfried, who was on a motorcycle, followed the other man home to Bench Lane. At some point, things got heated, and Siegfried apparently made threats with a club, and that's when the other man pulled a gun and fired a shot into the ground. Siegfried was arrested and charged with aggravated assault and disorderly conduct. The other man was cited for discharging a firearm within city limits.
Well, a suspected bank robber is in handcuffs after trying to use, get this, a cab as his getaway car. I didn't make this up. Tyrone Mobley was arrested yesterday. He's facing federal charges this morning. Police say after robbing the SunTrust Bank on West End Avenue, he goes out and he flags a cab down. And he tells the cabbie, "Take me to a liquor store." So with the help of the Checker Cab Company, the officers were quickly able to track him down. And like we said, he's under arrest right now. A former Clarksville attorney on the wrong side of the law again now. The TBI has indicted Carrie Gassaway on 3 counts of theft. You may remember her name. Agents started investigating her a few months ago and found that she had apparently commingled some money between her accounts and even kept money from clients that were owed it. As we reported last month, Gassaway was disbarred after being convicted of extortion along with fellow attorney Fletcher Long. She's out on bond this morning.
The man accused of brutally killing 2 teen girls back in 1996 will face a judge this morning. Patrick Streeter is accused of stabbing Tiffany Campbell and Melissa Dawn Chilton inside the Exotic Tan for Men business on Church Street 2 decades ago. He was charged with the crime back in 2013, but was already behind bars in California. Streeter was brought back to Nashville in August.
Calls to end the violence ramp up this morning after 2 teenagers were gunned down over the weekend in a couple of separate shootings not far apart from each other. One of those teens is still in the hospital, but the other one, 14-year-old Treante Burleson, died. Police say she was shot during a dispute with another female at the J.C. Napier Homes Tuesday night. Her family tells us she was an aspiring basketball player who would like to have stopped the violence in her neighborhood, but now won't get that chance.
Thanksgiving ain't in here. My niece don't even get to have Thanksgiving with her family. That hurts. That hurts. Not only Thanksgiving, you got Christmas coming around. She can't celebrate it with her brothers and sisters. That hurt.
18-year-old Antwana Smith is charged with criminal homicide in her death. She's expected in court today. Now, that second teenager I mentioned is a 15-year-old boy. He was shot Tuesday near Pearl Cone High School, and he is still in critical condition this morning. Police say it looks like it was some kind of drug deal, and they're trying to track down the shooter in that case.
Vice President Joe Biden stopping by Nashville today. He will deliver remarks at the National League of Cities annual conference taking place at the Music City Center. You may remember his last visit last year caused some traffic issues. Dave is standing by with more on what we can expect in just a moment. Of course, we'll have full coverage of the Vice President's visit both on air and online at newschannel5.com.